Yo, yo. Why can't I hear you, Mike? Are you on mute? Did you set yourself on mute?
No, I don't know. I did
There,
because I was sneezing.
there you
But you
are.
guys, you guys are up in your game on the intro music side, buddy.
Did you see? Well, the intro music still needs some work because I hate the way that it
Well,
ends.
the fade in into the actual, it ends a
Yeah,
little abruptly.
it ends really like you just got
Mid
blindsided in a
song.
car
Yeah.
wreck. Yeah,
Yes.
so that one needs some work. But the intro, I'm liking. I had to add you in there. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Was I in the intro?
You're in the
Damn.
intro, Mike.
Well,
You gotta go
if
back and
my name's
rewatch.
on it, I got to start getting royalties, son.
I mean, we're gonna need you to dress like you're not going on a run like Forrest Gump. When you come on the show, buddy. That's number
My
one.
office is cold today. I had to throw on this top here.
Is it
My
getting
champ.
cold up there? I can't wait for fall weather. Being in
It's
South
yeah,
Texas.
it's 50s ish.
Oh, that's
It's
beautiful.
nice. It's beautiful weather. But just my office in particular is a little on the chilly side today.
Well, it's interesting you bring up chilly weather because
Chilly?
I hear it's a little warm out where the boys are playing at because they're playing in Vietnam. Big event going
Heated
on right now,
tables.
Mike.
Heated
Well,
tables. That's the
Earl
answer.
Earl's dream. That's what Earl always said would be the fix. You know,
That's a lot of people say that.
So there you go. It's kind of good to like get away from I guess the drama for a little bit and just talk about pool, Mike. So
I'm sure we'll be
um,
able to mix some drama into this pool
well,
talk.
of course, we can't completely shy away from it, but just in general, talking more, about the game is always great and it's a fun
Yeah,
time. Uh,
tournament time.
exci- Exciting event, Mike. We talked about at the beginning, before it started, kind of leading into it, just the amount of players that had dropped out abruptly, following ACBS threats. I think it was close to 70-ish players, but it didn't seem to take away from the depth of the field. And I mean, it did, but at the same time, you
The
also
replacements
had
filled in pretty well. I
world
mean, well,
champions are coming from the one loss side, Mike. That's the thing.
yeah, this is the thing. You get, everybody sleeps on Asia. Well, only because they don't see it often enough. They don't see a lot of these
Right.
Asian players here. But we all know, and all pool players who go to Asia will come back and tell you, it's always the joke about the cab driver could rob you
Yeah.
at the pool table. I don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
same thing against cab drivers in Asia, but
Easy, Mike.
um, yeah. So we know that the depth in Asia of people playing, Q sports is ridiculous.
Right.
So it's not all surprising, especially Philippines. There's a lot of Filipino players in the Vietnamese Open who people here don't really even know much. Who's the young kid who took down, Orcolo and Little Co? So
Oh, yeah, Filipino. Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name off the top
begins
of my
with a
head.
B.
Maybe
But anyways, we'll find them in the last 64 bracket when we get there.
a lot
But
of champions, Mike, that are coming through from the one loss side. Tien, let's see here: Villafuerte, Elliot Sanderson, Sanjin, Levan, DeLuna, David, Little Co, Chua, Melling. Oh, Bernie. Bernie is what Ren's saying there in the
yeah,
chat.
Bernie Regulario. Yeah,
Um,
real deal,
Carlo,
obviously.
no, without a question, Mike.
Kyle
Van Lira,
Alvarado.
Gerson, tons
Yep.
of guys, Mike
Yeah.
Wolfer, Gonzalez, another Filipino player, Steyer, Orcolo. I mean, Mike, these are guys who, if you're mentioning just these names, could be in a final 16 of a major, and you're thirsting for more, And
Yeah.
these are guys who are coming through the scenic route, drawing into winners, Mike. It just goes to show how tough that this tournament's been up until this point.
Yeah, no, it's been rugged, and word is that it's hot and humid, and conditions are a little bit rough. But part of me says make the conditions equal every place, everywhere, heated tables, whatever. And part of me is like, play the game where it's being played.
Yeah.
They don't football, baseball. They don't make sure
Keep
everything
them
is
coming. Keep them
climate
coming.
controlled, right?
You know,
Tennis, whatever. So
golf, you name it,
yeah,
right? You got to
yeah,
deal with whatever climate that you're in, depending on what
right.
part of the world. Sometimes, depending on the sport, you'll have an indoor option, you'll have an outdoor option. Sometimes you got to play in the conditions. Sometimes you get more favorable conditions, right? You're in Green Bay, Mike. One of the I don't know if it was home field
Not Green
advantage or
Bay,
not. Well,
Jesus.
I mean, you're in Wisconsin. You're in Wisconsin, right? So part of like the Packer home court
Lore
was
is
you get
ice
home
bowls. Yeah.
field and you got to come through Lambeau in
Yeah.
order to play, which it's going to
Yeah.
be probably like 13 degrees if you're lucky, right?
Yeah. I've been to
Um,
many of those games.
and you better be able to run the ball, right, Mike? So adjusting the conditions is just part of any sport. It is not shying away from the pool community at all, Mike.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, tons of matchups to start with, Mike. I want to just get your like initial thoughts. I posted the Americans who came through, and obviously we're in the thick of Moscone season. Good job on your show yesterday, by the way, buddy. Having Federer on, and I just want to like follow up with you on it and just
Thanks,
what are your
man.
thoughts on some of the guys who went through, some of the guys who
Well,
aren't through, and
yeah,
just your
yeah.
overall impressions on American so far?
It's interesting because a lot of what we talked about yesterday was who do you think in 4 and 5, and um, my thought, which has been echoed by a lot of people, is I'd love to see Jeremy, pick the number 4 point guy and say you're my first wild card. I think that would be a really cool thing to do, um, but I think that that'll happen anyways. So my take on it is,
You do think that, Mike? You think they'll get a kind of, even if maybe they're not
I think
playing,
it's
let's say.
fair. I think it's fair, and I don't think it can't be a bad pick for him. At this point, you look who's left. You got Oscar, you got Shane, you got Tyler, Shane Wolford, you got Tyler, and yeah, you got those three fighting for 2 spots. Whoever finishes highest on those three is likely to be the number 4 point getter, anyways, right?
Right.
Except Oscar. Oscar's a little further behind. He needs maybe to go 2 rounds
Yeah.
further than the other guys. But if you get to there, I think you've probably proven enough to Jeremy late in the year, taking a big tournament like this, going all that way and performing at a level where you hit that number 4 spot. I think to me, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, I would like to hear him publicly say that, because I just think that for U.S. fans, for the U.S. players, it would provide a little bit of comfort and closure to the Federer taking one of the top 3 spots, right? So
Well, it'll flame some. It'll help shorten the flames on some of the conversation anyway.
yeah, and I
Not,
just think
you know.
it would be a stand-up thing to do. But whether he does it or not going to make any difference. I do think whoever is number 4 in the points is going to get that spot, uh, that first wild card spot. As far as, to me, I think Billy and BJ, by my thought, are out of the equation at this point.
They
Um,
were they were they were probably right there along with Wolford just
sure.
a couple weeks ago, Mike, if not a week ago.
So I think that becomes a really tough sell for one of them, for Jeremy. Um, and I think that you look at Oscar, Wolford, and Tyler. You know, I don't think anybody would argue with taking 2 of those 3 in any order. So I think it's starting to answer the question by itself. It's not putting Jeremy, to me, in the dilemma that he was in last year, where it was just wide open for number 5, and you could have picked, the ghost of Willie Moscone, and you could have given it a good argument. So this year, I think it's kind of playing out a little more straightforward.
Well, I think it's similar to last year in the sense that we were both high on Wolford coming into the first 6 months of the year, like we were this year. We thought there was going to be more separation. Maybe the lack thereof is making it a lot more closer for that 4 or 5 spot, because I think we both anticipate Tyler to get in no matter what. Is my audio still good, Mike, or because I changed
No,
my
something happened to
source?
I'm not hearing you as well. And
Let
it's
me know
like
in the chat if you guys can hear me,
my
because I just
settings just
changed it.
freaked out. So,
I just
um,
changed my microphone source, so let me know if you guys can hear me all right in the chat. But what I was saying, Mike, is that you know the Wolford part, and then you mix that in with Oscar kind of hitting more of a gear in the last let's say week and a half, through from the U.S. Open until now, really threw a twist in there. So I appreciate all you guys for letting me know. By the way, thanks a lot. Um, it really changes everything for the conversation. I feel like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but I think it's a lot more wide open. I don't know that I'm sold on the fact that I would necessarily. I don't want to say write off Billy or BJ, but it certainly didn't help their cause any. And it's all going to be dependent on if JJ's got the hard deadline of maybe like a week after Hanoi to pick his 4 or 5. Because if he were to extend it like he did, last year and say, "Hey, I need more time going through the international," well, then it gives players a lot more opportunity.
They're not going to give him through the international this year. That's not
You
going to
don't
happen.
you don't think so?
Because I think last year it mucked things up. It was Matchroom's rationalization for not including the
Like they
international
care
points.
about
And this
mucking up
year,
anything, Mike. They just threw in Federer in the mix, 20 minutes ago. Who cares if they're going to extend that out? How is that going to make a difference?
well, because the international is supposed to count for next year, right? And if you're
Okay.
using it to make your selection for this year, it kind of mucks things up. To me, too, they want to get these things announced. They want to get it. They want to get the team in place. So I'm thinking that they're giving him a week after they get back, and that kind of that would be it. And again, this is just my guesses. Who knows? It could go. They could go till Thanksgiving. Who knows?
Well, I'm going to get Jeremy on. I reached out to him again this morning, which was evening time there in Vietnam. So we're going to try to get him on at some point. He wants to come on the show. I know a lot of guys are a little under the weather right now.
Yeah,
But we're going to try to get him on here sooner than later, and just ask him outright. It's a much interesting conversation for me this year than what it was last year, because the Earl one was just kind of lingering, and then who knows. And now it's like I think we're pretty zoned in on who we think is, an immediate favorite, and then you get a couple of guys that are still there on the bubble. But it's all based off of when's your deadline. Because if it's now, then I'm with you, Mike. I think it's between Wolford and Oscar to get in that number 5 spot. But if there's going to be an extended deadline, it not only includes them, but then you kind of have a redemption opportunity if you're a Billy or a BJ.
and
So
I just think that adds more doubt, more equations, more whatever into Jeremy's decision process, and I don't think that's good. I think it's like, okay, make a plan, make a time deadline, stick to it. Don't allow yourself to let all these other things come into play. A tournament, the bull, the next tournament coming up between now and the international. It just confuses the matter. This is your big major. This is the one that people travel all the way across the world to show up and show what they're made of and take their run at it. Cut it after this. Make your decision. Let's move on.
okay, so let's say Tyler would have been the hypothetical 3 on automatic, right? Let's just say for the sake of argument.
Tyler? Oh,
Okay,
Tyler was further down the list than anybody.
well, okay, but let's just say he gets announced as number 4, right?
Okay.
Okay. So now you got one spot open, Mike. You got one spot open in what you've seen up until this point. Who's your 5? Who's your 5th spot?
Well, again, I'm going to stick with what I said before, which is I think you give the number 4 spot to the guy who finished number 4 in the
Well, that's
point,
what I'm saying.
right?
If let's say
Well,
by some chance,
if it ends up being Shane Wolford, then you're basically asking me who's your number 5, Tyler or Oscar.
but that's what I mean though. But that's what I'm saying in the
So it's a
example of
different conversation.
let's say Tyler were to take what would have been the number 3 spot, just for the sake of argument.
Okay. So if he
Just
finishes
indulge me a little bit.
if he finishes that points, and I said yesterday on my show yesterday, and I'll stick with it, I would pick Shane Wolford because at this point, having Federer, Sky, and Shane as your 1, 2, 3, you have a little more wiggle room to throw a rookie into the mix and start grooming him for years to come, because we're going to be, he's going to be a guy that you're going to be counting on years to come, right? So let's get him started. Let's get him in there. Let's get him working with these guys who've been there before and have that thing. Now, would I be disappointed if they picked Oscar? Of course not. He brings a lot of, steady, he's been there before, all that kind of stuff. The other side of it is Oscar's record in the Moscone Cup isn't great as far as individual head-to-head matchups or playing doubles without a Shane or a Skyler. Not great. So you got to take that in consideration too. So it's my pick would be if Tyler got number 4, my pick for number 5 would be Shane, and let's start rolling for the future.
It's hard to argue some points, but you make it real easy to argue others, Mike. So I I'm not gonna go with that notion of I'm getting guys dressed up for the next few years. That part you're never gonna sell me on because it's very much NFL like when it's win now and it's win right now. And if I just look at it from the aspect of who do I feel like is playing best today? Now again, there's 6 guys through single elimination in Hanoi. Wolford could change that argument with a good run here in the next couple of days, without
Right.
question, right? But if I think about guys who are hitting on a better cylinder today, it's going to come across real biased because everyone knows how good of friends I am with Oscar. But I would go with Oscar, right? But
I don't disagree with that. What if Shane Wolford finishes higher than Oscar in this tournament? Who's playing
then
better
it's a
right
different
now?
it's a different conversation.
Okay.
It's a different
Yeah.
conversation. That's why it's very much like this right now. It's very sensitive as
Yeah.
far as which way that he could shift, from one direction to the next, Mike.
And that's also why I say stick with these 3 guys, take 2 out of those 3, and don't confuse yourself by trying to overanalyze it if you're Jeremy Jones.
Well, now more than ever, there's going to be expectations. And it's great to say things in years past, but now you're in a really good position to get a win here. You're in a really good position to really give it to the Europeans. It's in a race to 11. That 5th guy is going to be super important. You know that, Mike. Year after year, you got to go and at least get a point or two.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I get at some point you got to toss somebody in the water, but I don't know that I would put, Wolford there right
I
now.
think he's got a lot of protection this year, and if you don't put him in the water this year and you use Oscar and you win, then the argument next year is going to be, you got to take Oscar again. So then, how many years is it before they take the flyer on Shane Wolford?
Well, yeah, but I can't buy into that because then it's like, go get it. Go get it. Wolford was in a good spot to get it. For whatever reason, he skipped out on a couple of events. Then you disappear at the U.S. Open, right? Now, again, everything can change tomorrow, right? You put a pounding on someone in the next 2 rounds and you're through to 16. Hey, let's go. You know what I mean? Get the kid a jersey and let's move on. But because of leaving it open to the conversation where you could have closed that door, at least you had the opportunity to close that door. Then this is kind of where we're at, Comment in the chat, saying Lucas, I was big on Lucas, 6 weeks ago, Mike, didn't really get the performance out of the US Open that I was hoping for. Him missing Hanoi is going to be massive. It's guys who are going to be on the radar right now, at least for me.
He'd be more of a rookie than Shane Wolford.
Well, of course, they both have played the same amount of Moscone Cup matches. How the hell is he more or less a rookie than Wolford is?
Because Wolford's actually been playing a couple of these events for a couple of years. Lucas is pretty new to the scene.
Well, I'll give you that, but they both got the same Moscone record. If you want to just talk about the nuts and bolts of it.
Well,
Mike,
then Jaws Spain, like Donald Thigpen says, throw Jaws in there.
Well, there you go. Right. Look, the next 2 days are going to be massive, and again, it's all going to be dependent on if you're going to have the deadline being like a week after Hanoi, right? Because then it's right now.
Jason Shaw has not been announced for Team Europe yet, so we still got a chance.
Are you
Team USA,
are you
right?
saying you want him on the red, white, and blue, Mike? And I'm not talking about the UK either. I'm not talking about the UK colors. Are you saying you want him on the USA?
I just want to see how many more people we can get to respond to this thread.
Look, you ain't gonna say no to Jason. I can promise you that. All jokes aside, you're not gonna say no.
Melissa, how can a rookie be more of a rookie than a rookie? I think Shane would be less of a rookie than Jaws Spain.
Look, I feel like it's there's so many question marks right now, and this is part of what I love about this season. It's going to be disappointment for a lot of guys, right? A lot of guys right now are really bitter and salty and are deflated. I think if they give them a longer deadline, then it's time to tighten up the belt and go back to work. Go to Wolf's Den. Go to whatever else event they got between now and then. Make sure your ass is there. If you really want it, go get it.
Okay.
You know,
my argument against that is that didn't we say that that's why all these guys should go to Vietnam, because this is where they're going to make their decision. This is where you prove your chance to be on the team. This is where you get those points. This is where you make your statement. Now you're going to say, well, we'll give you a mulligan on Vietnam if you didn't play well, and we'll let you play well at the Wolfsten. Enough already. Be done with it. Like I said, make the deadline, stick to it, pick your team, get ready for December.
well, it ain't like they're gonna be camping out together for a week working on things, Mike. They're all still gonna have a pretty busy schedule, so you're still really not gonna have opportunity to build chemistry. What's another event or two to kind of?
I think
Hey,
the
you know what? I
International
want to see
Open.
how
I
much
think the
form he's gonna be in.
International Open gives them a great opportunity to get together and do something. A couple days before the event, a couple days after the event. Jeremy talked about that before.
Well, listen, I think it's go get it. If you want it, go get it. You know,
This was the opportunity to go get it.
yeah, yeah.
So whoever produces best here, to me, you're in.
So you're saying it's 2-man race for the 5th spot between
No, it's the
Oscar
three.
and Wolf.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. What if Tyler flames out and Oscar and Wolford both finish really high? I mean, so I think it's a 3-man race from here.
I don't think there's any way Tyler does not
you
make
make
that
your
team.
decision
There's
after
no, there's no way I can justify leaving that kid off the team. I don't
Tyler?
care. Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I wouldn't, tell the other guys that right now. I mean, to me, it's still a 3.
You don't think they can? You don't think they listen? We've seen all over social media pull players on Facebook complaining one way or the other, celebrating one way or the other, being PC one way or the other. You're telling me they don't? Their ears aren't open to it, Mike? Come on now.
Their ears are
Come
open
on.
to it. But like I said, what if a miracle happens and Oscar and Shane Wolford both go like last 16?
I hope that's the case. I
Okay?
I really do. I really do. There's nothing that I want more.
Tyler flames out in his next match. Say something like that happens. Now what are you going to do?
Well,
Is
then
Tyler still
for me,
guaranteed?
okay, if Tyler's still a guarantee for me,
Okay.
Tyler would still be a
Fair enough.
guarantee, and then at that point, I would probably weight the fact that Wolford had more of a lead coming into this stretch. Now he's showing form at the end, and that's where it would tip the scales a little for me. As much as it would break my heart because I want to see my boy represent the USA on the Moscone Cup, But that's how I would justify it, But it's about current form, and it doesn't. It didn't. The U.S. Open didn't help Wolford's case any. That's the problem.
Yeah, no.
So if it's even money between him and Oscar, this is what's part of the conversation of how you left the door open.
How about getting those 3 guys together after Vietnam, putting them in a room for a couple of days and playing, some long races and let's hammer it out, the 3 of them for 2.
Oh, are we going like old school? We're gonna go 10 ahead or something, Mike? Is that what we're doing here?
Cage match, whatever.
Oh, I like it. Iron Man match.
Round
Settle
robin.
it. Yes. Let's charge at the door. Right, make it a business. Pay for their expenses at least. Come on now. How you tell me you wouldn't want to see that?
I would love to see that.
Let them grind it out. That's a pretty good man, Mike. You know what? It took how long you been on this show, Mike? It took how many years for you
25 years, I think.
With the great idea.
It feels like 25 years.
That's pretty good, Mike. I like it. Hey, listen, there's an event going on, Mike, and there's more than just Americans that are following through with it.
Oh, that's right. We came on to talk about the Hanoi Open.
We came through to talk about the Hanoi Open, my man.
Now we can talk about which of these 3 guys has the best opportunity to go a couple rounds.
Well, let's take a look at said round, but we're going to start at the top. So I will post the link to the bracket on Windows Open so you guys can go and check it out. We're going to start at the top, Mike, and number 1 overall seed. Boy, you think, Mike, if I'm number 1 overall seed, I'm going to have the benefit of playing of playing a dud, of playing some dead money in that round. And oh, by the way, you get drawn into the former U.S. Open champion, former world champion. Some might say the best Filipino player right now, at least probably the one over 35, in Carlo Beato, Mike. So how brutal is that if you're Francisco drawn into Carlo?
Well, you know what? It's the breaks, buddy. We've seen it happen before in these redraws where champions end up coming out of the loser side, and that's Carlos already got a loss, came out of the loser side. Now he runs in, he pulls Ruiz. He can't be overly excited either. So it's going to be. Oh, Jeremy Jones is in the house.
Oh, Jeremy, you just wait till we get you in here, buddy.
Yeah,
We
no,
got
let's hit him with it.
a
Let's hit
lot of
him with it
questions
right.
to ask.
Let's hit him with it right now while he's on this thing. We got an idea
Yeah.
of a 3-man, long race cage match between Tyler Oscar and Shane Wolford for the 4 and 5 spot after this tournament's over. What do you think?
Who do you think we can get to sponsor, Mike? We know a lot of people in the industry. We ought to be able to get.
Yeah, I don't know. Joey made fun of Pinoza's check. Yeah, really. This is championship billiards. This is one of my, snowmobile, swag that I get every year.
Hey, let me know if you can still hear me, Mike, because my audio seems to be being a pain in the ass right now.
Yeah, mine's been kind of flipping it out too, but we're good right now.
Okay, good deal. All right, so Mike, we got FSR versus Carlo. Right below, we got Anton Raga versus Ralph.
How's that for a nice second round match? Not looking any better either, right? For
if it don't matter who you are. If you're Francisco or you're Carlo, it doesn't matter who you got because there's a pretty good chance you're going to be coming into Anton Raga. Although, Ralph seems to be just defying logic here lately because he's always around, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we like Anton to come through up top. Who do you like coming through between Carlo and FSR, Mike?
I'm going to take Carlo.
All right, and then let's see here at the bottom. We got
Alexa and Sanchin. Good matchup.
Boy, that's how brutal is that? They're two best friends, Mike, and they're both in there playing each other to qualify for the round of 32. Mike, who do you got in that one?
Alexa. I like the way he's playing. I like his temperament. I like his demeanor. We know Sanjin can get down on himself a little bit and get a little bit flaky sometimes on shots if it's a tough match. So, I'm going Alexa here.
Oy against this Filipino player who I don't know anything about. Maybe our Filipino fans in the chat could let us know. Arnio Lenore. I've never seen him play, Mike. I couldn't point him out in a lineup, if I'm being honest with you.
He's a cab driver in the Philippines.
then in that case, I'll take him over Oy, right? In an upset, if you can call it that. I'll take the Filipino over Oy. I'm with you taking Alexa over Sanjin, although I don't want to be so victim of the moment, but you can't argue the way that Alexa's playing right now. What's the matter, bro? Okay. I will. I'll get it in a minute, babe.
So who do you like? Who do you like playing 2 rounds later? He's going head to head 2 rounds later.
To get through 16, Mike.
Yeah.
This is tough, man. This is really difficult. On the bottom half, I'm going to take Alexa because I want to see him follow through. I want to see him make a Moscone Cup run. He's one of the few Europeans who's in a position where a good run could get you an automatic spot, Mike. He's in that position right now. Yeah. So I want to see him at least be in the conversation. And so for that sake, I'll pick him being one of the
Who's
8
coming
in this
out
group.
Of the top 4?
Or you want to talk about flipping a coin here, Mike? I don't know who to take. I mean, you can realistically argue 3 guys, and the 4th guy just was taking down names at the U.S. Open 2 weeks ago. So, I'm gonna take Anton. I think he's real hungry right now. I know he was down 8-1 in Billy in his match, so maybe he's not in the purest form as we've seen over the last few months, but he's the one that everybody wants to see kind of go through. Right, yeah, babe, I'll get him in a minute. I don't got Marcus right now. You're gonna have to give me a minute. All right.
Are you getting another puppy, buddy?
No, not yet. Yeah, that's in the next few minutes. I'll see you in a minute, babe.
I'm gonna take Carlo to face Alexa in the at the end of that.
No one's gonna argue with you because
no one's gonna argue with any of those 3 guys.
Yeah, any of them. So let's keep on cruising along, Mike. In the next bracket, we got, let's see here, a lot of Vietnamese and Filipino players, Mike. Up top, we got Jeff DeLuna versus a strong Vietnamese player who I don't know who that is. Feliciano versus another Filipino who I couldn't point out who his Vietnamese opponent is either, Mike.
Yeah, wow. A lot of good. Has it amazed you how dialed in the Vietnamese players and fans are?
Well, I've heard the atmosphere is just incredible.
I had no idea before this event that it was that tilt over there. And then I saw Tyler Steyer's post where he walked into some room and it was 74 tables and they were all 9-footers.
Yeah. No, they said the whole town is filled with big pool rooms like that, with 70 plus tables.
So, I start looking at these Vietnamese flags all over the place, and I'm thinking this could be the second coming of the Philippines here if they really start ratcheting it up. Organized play
Oh,
and
well, if the
international
ACBS
tournaments and be it.
doesn't fuck up the party, for sure they got an opportunity. It's all contingent on how
I
salty
knew
the
you'd get. I
WPA
knew
and
you'd
the
get politics.
ACBS.
I knew you'd get
Well,
politics into this.
listen, if you want to talk about climate, right? You can't do that without arguing just who's there trying to throw shade on the party, right? Who's going to be the storm coming through? I'm with you. It seems like the pool community out there is amazing. The players that I've talked to have all echoed the same thing, that they love it, that they love being out there. The fans have been incredible, despite the heat and the temperatures inside. But you can't argue just how talented they are. And mind you, Mike, this is with 70 strong Vietnamese and
Yeah,
Asian
including
players not
including
being there.
Quack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Mike. So you can only imagine
So
how much more filled it would be with Vietnamese players had
yeah,
those guys stuck around, Mike.
we got a
So
note in there that at MEL is Chua's gambling partner since they were teens.
is it the guy up top?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then give me that.
Hey,
Oh,
give me
ooh.
that
So
guy
who do
over
you,
Roy.
okay, hold on. Oh, give me. Oh, I take him over Oi just for being Filipino and seeing Oi play lately. I'm taking him no matter what over Oi. But knowing that he's Chua's gambling partner, oh, talk about that might be my dark horse, Ryan. I appreciate the heads up, buddy. Earmuffs, everyone. All right, Mike. Back to this group of 8 players. Who do you got coming up top, Mike?
Feliciano, he's riding a hot hand these days. So I'll take him
Going back to Sharks, he's been
against
playing
DeLuna.
great, Mike. Going back to Sharks, he's been playing great.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take him in the first round versus against the Vietnamese player. I'll take him in the second round, whether it's the other gentleman from Vietnam or I expect it to be Jeff. I like Feliciano getting through the final 16 up top. Down at the bottom, I don't know a lot of these guys. Is Antonios? That's not Kazakis. So who is?
No,
I don't
no.
know who the guy is from Greece.
Antonios
And
Karas. Don't
I
know.
don't listen
I'm
outside of
going with.
Thorsten. I'm going Vietnam here, Mike.
I am too.
And I don't know who that dude is from Vietnam, but I'm assuming he's
You
a
just
bad
got to
man.
figure a local's going to make it through, right?
If I'm putting my money on 4, and I know how one plays, the other 3 I got no clue. I'm taking Team Asia, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable about it. I got to be honest with you, Mike.
Okay.
So, but give me Feliciano is who I like out of this group of 8 players, Mike.
Yep.
So, let's keep on cruising along, Mike. Another gentleman who's making a run at the Moscone Cup, very much a part of the social media trolling festivals as of late, which I absolutely love because this is part of what makes Jason just absolutely an awesome follow and just a phenomenal game on top. Which, by the way, not to have his game be overlooked, Mike. He seems to be hitting in the right cylinders on at the right time, which seems to happen quite consistently at this time of year, Mike.
Yeah, no, at this time, this is kind of his time of year where he seems to, strap him up a little bit tighter and, get after it. Still been a tough road for him in a lot of these big tournaments. I don't know the guy he's playing. You got to like his chances getting through here. But, in the next round facing the winner, Pius and Chua, that's that's going to be a tester.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pius can give Johan much more trouble than what the names may go and look like.
Yeah.
You
This is
know,
a good 8-man bracket right here.
no, it absolutely is from top to bottom, Mike. I mean, this is super difficult here. Obviously, I'm going to pick Jason up top, like I think you are as well. I'm going with a little bit more chalk picking Chua in that next round, only because I want to see that Shaw versus Chua matchup that I'm hoping we're afforded to. Down below, give me the gentleman from Taiwan, Fu Che Wei over Mickey Kraus. Although, listen, Mickey played Francisco super tough
Yeah,
at the
Mickey's
U.S.
playing
Open.
really.
I mean,
Mickey has played really well.
Mickey's
Mickey
playing
played.
different than what he
Yeah,
played
he
before,
is.
Mike.
Yeah, he's solid. He's playing really well. Fu, he's kind of in that elder statesman Taiwan
But
group.
they're still bad dudes, man. They're still
They are still bad dudes. So that'll be a
So
really good matchup. And then you've got Sky against Van Lierop, who had a really good U.S. Open.
yeah, without question. And the other thing is how motivated is Sky going to be? We obviously know he wants to win a major, but will he put it into that next gear, or will he put it into cruise control? Just given the fact that he's already.
I think that if he's gone all the way to hell over there, he's not. I mean, if he was on cruise control, he wouldn't have bothered going that far.
Well, I mean, there's been questions before, Mike. Um, in the bottom half, I'm taking Mickey in the upset over Sky in that next round. I just, Mickey just seems to be he seems to be very comfortable playing on those tables, Mike, on those 4-inch pockets. He was very steady when in the few matches that I did see him play. Sky's in the chat, Mike. He says breaking good and ready to win. Well, there you go. If
Yeah.
Sky's saying he's motivated and he's ready to win, Mickey
Sky,
who? Mickey who?
Sky,
Come on,
Molina
now,
said that
now,
you.
now we're
Molina
now
said you
we're
might be on cruise control. Molina said you
Hey,
might
he
be on
answered the
cruise
question.
control. Are you insulted?
He
I would be
answered the
insulted.
question. Put him on the record, Mike. There you go. Put him on the record. Listen, if Sky is motivated, then I'm picking Sky. If he's in cruise control, I'm picking Mickey. Up top, Mike, I'm picking Chua over Jason Shaw in the round of 32. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the other way around. And because who
Please don't
knows
put
how the
that
hell
there.
he's going to go and play. You know, cruise control to running out. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look
well,
at that remark in
he's
there.
on the chat. I'm picking Sky to go through this whole bracket because I'm not going to insult the guy right on international TV.
Oh, I mean, we got like 14 people that watch the show, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. So,
Yeah, but
no,
Sky watches, and so does
look,
his girl. So
it's a great time of year to be playing great pool. We've seen how Sky played in the first, let's say 2 to 6 months of the year, and so for him to be able to follow that up and show consistency and form going into the final stretch is just going to be that much more lead that much more optimism going into Moscone Cup, which is the whole conversation that we've been having, all year long.
and Sky, I'm
So,
picking you because I believe you're
oh,
playing
here we
good.
go.
You can
Mike's
do
just
it.
such the biggest like kiss
Well,
ass.
he
He's
said
like he's
my
you're
feelings.
you're you're you're, you're more controversial than Joey Ryan. That's I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but look, neither one. This is a pretty tough 8-man bracket, no
This is
matter
a
what.
really
Like,
tough 8-man
you know,
bracket.
it could
Really
go
tough
any
8-man
which
bracket.
way you want here because this is not easy pickings to say the least, Mike.
Yeah.
Going along, Mike, in the next round of 8 players that we got here. Up top, we got Kopinyi over Mr. Reliable Imran Majid.
Yeah.
Dodong against
Has he ever
Gerson.
not made the final 64, Imran?
I would bet pretty decent money that out of every major that he's played in, he's probably made final 64 in like 90% of them, if not more.
For sure.
That guy is super dependable.
That's a tough road for him there too, though. Starting off with Pingy Co, and if you get through that, you get the winner of Gerson and Uranus. So, yeah.
I like James in that top part. James when he's confident and playing his game, James is a top player. Gerson's style for me, as much as I love the guy and he's fun to be around, he's exciting to watch. His style of play, I don't know if it's the best under these conditions, Mike. High humidity, tight pockets. We know, just the way that he hits the ball. James's style, on the other hand, is very smooth, very fluid, very, makes the pocket play a lot bigger than Gerson's way that he hits the ball. Kopinyi is going to be a tough out. We know that, Mike. We know where he's been at over the last 12 months. But give me James up top, making it through the final 16. Team Philippines.
Yeah, it's probably the way I would go. And, just given the fact that it's hot and you got these tough conditions, you tend to favor the Asian players who do this all the time, right?
Well, this is like a Tuesday afternoon for them, Mike.
Yeah.
So
it'll change a little bit when they get to TV tables in those last couple rounds. Once it gets to the Sky, or it gets to the bigger Matchroom zone single table arena, it probably won't be as dramatic. But on these outside tables right now, I would imagine it's a pretty, you got to use some muscle.
Well, I mean, they ain't going to be moving tables around, but I get what you're saying figuratively. It's on the bottom half, Mike. It seems like it's a rematch of the Perry Open ending because you got Team Asia versus Federer again.
Yeah,
they're throwing all the Asian players they can to try to trip your boy up out there, and it ain't worked so far, Mike. I don't know if it's
no, it hasn't. But It's still just so weird to see his name and see an American flag next to it.
It's gonna take some time, Mike. It's gonna take
It's
some
going
time.
to take some time.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. Mom, apple pie, and Feder Gorst.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's Team Asia against Feder, but it's
Will anything slow him down, Mike?
Well, in this bracket, you can't believe so because these aren't your top 10 Asian players, right? So,
well, it don't matter. I mean, listen, you had Anton face him in the semifinals
well, yeah, I mean, of
of the
course, he
last
could
event,
lose to he could
you know,
lose to anybody at this point. Anybody could lose to anybody at this point. But I like his chances of getting to that third round.
I'll wait for you to get ask Mom and get my blue.
Okay, babe.
And the marker's right there.
Okay, no problem.
She's calling you out on your promise that you do it in a minute.
She just let me know. She's letting me know that she ain't forgot. So
yeah, you're on the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I'm with you in the sense that these aren't top 10 Asian players, but I'm also in that maybe that can make these players play a little bit more loose, right? Because they're very much more seasoned and, they already know they're probably going to be up against it when it comes to this kid because their eyes are open. They're very much aware of how much of a monster that Federer is. It's going to take a lot, and you're going to have to play a perfect set and hope the guy makes probably 2 mistakes that you can capitalize pretty significantly on.
Right.
I don't think with Federer in this format any lead isn't insurmountable with that guy. I think he's shown that he could dig deep if he needs to, but he's also a great front runner as well. So for that sense, you're gonna want to pick Federer, but gentleman in the chat from the Philippines is saying Rota's only 23 years old. So hey, listen, that kid may just be like, hey, let's roll the dice, let's go, Mike.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's
and we've seen how these young Filipino players are playing, Mike. Kyle, Bernie, these young kids who were just built super tough and playing really incredibly against big names, Mike. So give me the 2 you got coming through this 8 players.
James and Federer.
God, I hate agreeing with you, Mike. I'm gonna go the same way. I'm gonna go the same way. All right,
let's keep on. You thought I was going co, didn't you?
I did for a little bit. Let's take a look at another stacked bracket, Mike. We got a gentleman I mentioned just a second ago, and Bernie playing against Long Duck Dien. 2 Filipinos matching up Roland Garcia against Lee Van Corteza.
Yeah.
Who you got, Mike?
Man. Well, listen, you beat Little Co and Urcolo, and he blasted Urcolo.
With ease, Mike, with ease.
Yeah, coming through there. That's kind of tough to say, okay, I'm going to ride this guy until he proves that he can't do it. So, Lee Van would be a cushy pick in those top 4, but I'll see how long. I'll go with the young kid and see how long he can last.
Okay, I'm gonna stop letting you go first from here on out because you're taking all my names here. I'm with you. I'm taking Bernie as well. Although I think Lee Van's gonna be the test for him. Lee Van. We all know his accomplishments. We know how tough he plays in gambling. We know how tough he plays in tournaments. He's been in these stages before, but that kid wasn't rattled by the moment, Mike. And he's already been playing big names. Unbelievable. So I'm going with Bernie as well. Up top, down below, Mike, the newest member of Team Europe and David Alcade versus the potential next pick of Team USA and John Mora. Who do you got there, buddy?
Yeah. Let's not bring Canadians into that. This is not Europe against.
Is that where you're drawing the line, Mike? Is that
I draw the line?
I just want to make sure. That's it.
Unless Mora has permanent residency here, then he's in the mix. But
I'm not even going to get into that argument with you. I'm not even going to do it.
The Ryder Cup, doesn't include Canadians. So this is the U.S. against Europe.
I digress.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that said, man, this guy's playing good right now. I really like the way he's playing. This is a really good matchup.
Semifinals in Qatar, Mike, I want to say, right?
Yeah. Playing really good. I think this would have been, not that David's going to take the foot off the pedal, but if David's Moscone Cup chances were still riding on this would have been a really sexy match to watch. But, David's in. I don't expect any big let up, but it's got to be in your head a little bit that you're already there. So that's going to be a great match either way. And then You want to talk about? We want to talk about Moscone Cup implications.
Knocking on the door, Mike. Knocking
Man,
on the door. Hello,
Moritz and
Moscone Cup.
Shane.
Play for a jersey, kids.
Moritz and Shane. Now this is, Moritz is going into this like dialed in.
What? Listen, even whenever he was sick, he almost crossed the finish line out there at the U.S. Open. Right? I'm hoping he's feeling better. By the way, but you're right. These are two young players with a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Um,
If you want to make, we say this in a lot of different events when we see the American players reach 64 or 32 or whatever it is. You want to make your statement to get on Team USA? This is it, Shane. Here it is.
These are kids who could be playing in the Moscone Cup for the next 10 years, Mike. They got that kind of potential, both of them. I think if I'm looking at just current form, we both know who we're picking, Mike. We're picking Moritz to beat Shane Wolford. But if Wolford does, because at times he can play pretty decent names very, very well. We saw him give Little Cole hell in tournaments in the last 12 months, and that's just one player, But if you're a Wolford, right, you want to make Team USA, win the next 2 rounds, buddy.
Yeah, he wins 2 rounds.
You win these 2 rounds, it's a lot.
I'll overnight the jersey to you.
There you go. Go. You take down Wolford, and I think it's going to be David coming through. While I am with you that John played very well out there in Qatar, David's just a different kind of steady player when it comes to this time. I don't think he's got any let up whatsoever. I think he's still the kind of guy who can play with more of a chip on his shoulder. There'll be plenty of time to celebrate getting on that team. Right now, you got work to do, and David's that kind of guy. I like him to go through, but if I'm picking who I think is going to make it to Final 16 out of these 8 players, give me Bernie up top, and I'm probably going to take Moritz at the bottom, Mike.
Okay. I'm going Bernie and John Mora.
Whoo, man, you've been hanging around Joey Ryan way too long. Oh, man, I don't know what the hell you're thinking here. I like it. You're not going Chuck, at least. I love that part of it.
I like the way John Mora's been playing lately. I follow him a lot, and I just like where his head's at. His attitude. I think he's really starting to get comfortable with his new life and all this type of stuff. And I always wish the best for him because he's such a good dude. So I'll cheer for him down there.
Well, let's go, buddy. Let's go. He's an easy guy to root for sure.
Yeah.
So in the next round of 8, Mike, we got Kazakis against I don't know this gentleman, Abdullah Al Muntasar. I'm probably butchering his name. Ignacio versus Lovan Juan. Who do you got up top, Mike? Do those 4 players?
I like Kazakis. Kazakis still a steady, hard player to beat.
Agreed, and we all know, just the kind of 9-ball monster that he can be. But I'm going Team Philippines here up top, Mike. Jeff coming off of a Chinese 8-ball victory over the last couple of months, or actually the last month. He seems to be playing a lot more loose, and his results are starting to show. I think that it's time for him to kind of take that next step on this stage, and this is the perfect opportunity to do so. I think you win that first round. I think you win the second round against Kazakis. I like Jeff Ignacio coming up on that top part of this bracket. Down below, another Filipino is being tossed at Shane's way, Mike, and we all know how dangerous the Pinoys play. Down below, you got Albin Ocean versus Chris Melling. Who do you got in Shane's match?
Well, I'm picking Shane here, but he lost a Hill, barely won a Hill. I'm not 100% sure where his game is at right now. So, I mean, I don't know how the hell he lost that first match in that last rack, but it's gotta like him here. Next round, if he plays winner Albin and Chris, then we'll see. We'll see if he's getting some stroke back.
Boanen's one of the Filipino players that I don't know a whole lot about. Marlonito in the chat says he's in his mid-30s, pretty established in the Philippine pool scene is what he's saying, Mike. So, he's got to at least be like an 890 then, if that's the case, Fargo.
Right. Kind of on the low end for the Filipinos.
Yeah, what I mean? Decent. No big deal, right? Just like a 900 Fargo speed. Down at the very bottom, you got Albin versus Chris. I would like to see a rematch of the World Championship final in SVB versus Albin because that's just always been a real classic kind of matchup in
Yeah.
single elimination, Mike.
Yeah.
Melling, had a good win over Billy. Always exciting player to watch. A lot of discussions surrounding Albin at this time, Mike, for a number of different reasons.
Yeah.
Not just the Moscone Cup implications, but also all the talks with WPA and where he's going to end up going.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, between these four players, the dark horse is obvious. It's going to be Boan, and I take him in the shocking of an upset over SVB, just to kind of change it up a little bit, because I'm sure you're going straight chalk down here at the bottom.
I'm definitely taking the chalk at the bottom.
All right, Mike. Let's keep on cruising along here. Guy listen, the ball is completely in your court if you're this guy up top, Mike. Mario against Frank Candela.
I'd like to see Mario He playing at the table next to Moritz.
Oh, to kind of make them sweat up against how each other's doing.
See who looks over each other's shoulders the most.
Who's gonna rattle, Mike? Who's gonna dog it off then?
I don't. Well, you look at it. We talked about a lot about Team USA before, but man, you look at Team Europe, and you got the number 3 automatic spot, right? You got Jason, you got Mario. Yep. You got Kachi. Such a shame that he didn't make it.
I know. Yeah.
You got Josh. You got Moritz, and you got Alexa. Now, Kachi and Filler aren't there, so you got Jason, Mario, Moritz, and Alexa are within $5,000 of each other, right? So this is talk about wide open, up for grabs for the number 3 spot. This is really going to be some scoreboard watching we got ahead of us now. So, and then looking at the bottom of that bracket is Max. He's never out of the picture. So this bracket, could have some definite Team Europe implications.
Massive. And it's not just for Mario's conversation. You talk about 2 young Spaniards who are wanting to make a name for themselves, who made a splash, going deep in a couple of events last year, Mike. Right? They're kind of, it seems like, on the cusp of being the next guys to linger around,
Yeah.
So, and then of course down below, everyone knows that I root for Max. I'm taking Team Austria to make it through, Mike, through Final 16, both at the top and at the bottom. I'm hoping Mario gets there.
Wow.
I want Mario to make himself part of the conversation and to earn it.
Full on Edelweiss here, buddy.
I'm going straight Austria in here, and it's no disrespect to Dennis. It's no disrespect to Koping Chung, because Lord knows I wouldn't be surprised if those guys made it through as well. And I'm not trying to hedge here a little bit, but look, I'm this is completely talking with my heart here, Mike. Right? It's got nothing to do with what I've seen out of guys, over the last 2 weeks. I want Mario to be in a position to go effing take it, Mike. You've been hanging around. You've got the raw end of the deal before. Yep. Go out there and go take your spot. Right, it's yours for the taking. If you just go and play good, you got everything that. Like, for you talk about guys on the U.S. side who kind of got a raw deal with the Federer situation. You could talk about guys who are going to be afforded that much better of an opportunity, and Mario's close to being at the top of that list, Mike. Right?
Yeah, they should all be sending Federer Christmas presents this year.
At a minimum, throw them like $5,000 at a minimum. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially if
he opened the gates to a lot of guys for sure. And,
they better be sending Federer some jelly if you're a guy like Mario. Look, it's yours, Mike. If you want it, go get it.
I'm pulling for Mario to get through. I'd love to see, if Mario can close the deal if he gets through this match and faces Little Ko in the next round.
Well,
that would be time for Mario to step up with a ton of pressure on you and beat a top player. So if Mario can get through to that final 16, good on him, and that's what I'll pull for. On the bottom, Dennis doesn't do anything for me right now, to tell you the truth. I like Max easy in this bottom half.
Well, and nothing's easy whenever you got Orcolo sitting right there, Mike. Nothing's going to be easy because Dennis is still Dennis. And, a lot of conversations about his game right now. But look, we know that he can catch another gear and dig extremely deep when he needs to, or when it's time. It will be time, because now you got no more bullets left in the chamber for any of these guys. But without all that being said, I'm still going Max. I like Max. Yeah. I like Max personally. I like his game. I think Max just plays 9-ball, this format, extremely tough. He was in the, I think, quarterfinals of the U.S. Open just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going Max. I'm going Team Austria to
Wow.
make it through
So
final
what's going to
16.
happen if Max and Mario meet in the final 16?
Oh man, talk about box office. How much of a saver are those guys gonna have, huh? Uh, Give me a minute.
You're going to have a saver on this tournament and the Moscone Cup payout.
Golly, who would I take? I mean, look, if they were to meet, who would I take winning in that round of 16?
Yep. You take Max.
I would take Max.
Yeah.
I would take Max. And
You're
it's not just for
as predictable as Joey Ryan.
well, it's not because of the man crush I got on the guy. It's because he plays the game great.
No, he
And I
does.
don't think here's the deal. I really don't think like Max may lose, but I don't see Max dogging it off. You know, not to say that Mario does. I mean, although Mario does, but that's not what I'm trying to get at here. It's just that like Max.
Did you have breakfast at the Waffle House or what?
Yeah, no, it's just that Max plays the game. He's a difficult out
Yeah,
for any top
he
player.
is. No
You
doubt
know,
about it. No doubt about
and
it.
I think he's just as hungry. I think he's got as much of an opportunity. Like I know he's not right in that 5,000 range, but he ain't far away from there, Mike. I don't know what
Yeah.
exact number he is, but he's right there with those guys.
Yeah,
So
a
you
deep
got an
run changes a lot
opportunity,
of things. Yeah.
a deep run. You can go and get you some of that Moscone Cup jersey yourself, you know. And I think he knows that. There goes Joey in the chat. He says, "Get off his nuts already, will you?" So there's
You know, come on here and defend yourself, son. We're not, you know.
Joey's look. Me and Joey are gonna have another show probably tonight. We're actually gonna be doing like a stock up, stock down type of deal with
Yeah.
all the players in contention with the Moscone Cup. So just a little bit of a teaser for you guys. Mike, I said my picks for this group of 8. Who's your picks?
My picks were, my picks were Mario and Max.
What?
Sorry.
We've gone through I don't know how far along the bracket, but we can't keep on picking the same guys, Mike.
You know, our minds are one at this point.
Okay,
we've done too many shows together.
This is getting a little.
You may
Getting a
need
little
to get
awkward.
somebody new in here because
Look,
you know the most dangerous thing is that is it more dangerous that I'm agreeing with you or you're agreeing with me?
well, you still got Little Cole in there. Don't forget that.
But you were expecting me to go chalk with Little Cole, and I'm not doing it. I like Mario.
Okay.
And on the bottom half, I think Max is easy.
Okay, well, easy there, Tiger. Easy, because you're going to light a fire under Dennis Rocolo's behind here pretty soon. All right, Mike, let's talk about another guy who's got Moscone Cup questions. This actually, brings up some Moscone Cup memories, Mike. One Niels Fine against Tyler Steyer. Mike, who do you got up top?
Wow, I'd like to see Tyler jump a ball at him in the second game and put Neil on complete tilt.
Yeah, who's gonna turn more red between these two? Is what I want to know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're talking about SPF number 96 for both of these guys.
Yeah,
over in Vietnam. But big match for Tyler. Big match for Tyler. He's I think he feels comfortable that he's a pretty good shot at one of those last 2 picks. But you don't want to fall on your face here against someone who's been in the Moscone Cup, someone who's still a threat, but someone who, if you want to be the next level, you got to beat these guys, every time you play them now. So we'll see what happens there. I'll take Tyler in this.
Knowing Tyler, he's not settled on any kind of public conversations. Just knowing what I know of the kid, right? He doesn't want to leave anything up to chance. He's going to very much play with the chip on his shoulder and the world to prove, because that's just the kind of kid that he is, and I think he's also going to be very aware of that nothing is a given,
right,
in the Moscone Cup, because obviously we've seen just from one week to the next how much that things can change, Mike. Right. I like Tyler in this matchup, but it ain't going to get any easier for you, because right below you got Aloysius Yap versus Oliver Villafuerte, and I'm taking the Filipino between those two. But boy, you want to talk about a coin flip? Yeah, I'm taking Villafuerte against Yap. But look,
Yap's playing really good these days. Yap is playing really good. He played great in Michigan. He played. He's played pretty good pool.
Well, you can't argue that, Mike, and I really can't give you any kind of logical explanation why I'm picking the Filipino player, other than I'm just going to pick the Filipino player just to go on the other side of it. So I obviously I know he's a very great player, but that doesn't say that Yap isn't, because Yap is. We saw him
Yeah,
out there in Atlantic City, how well that he can play. I
yeah,
really wish, like, as great as the moment was, seeing Little Cole just kind of put the hammer on him. Like, I would have loved to have seen what Yap could have done. Because
yeah.
Yap was playing very well in his
Yep, was
own right.
playing great. And like I said, I saw him play great in Michigan too. So he's really, and the funny thing is, anytime you talk to Yap, he's struggling. He'll he'll always tell you he's struggling, and getting a little lucky, whatever. But he's grinding through a lot of these tournaments against big players, and I just like his game. He's a good kid.
Like the other Americans, Tyler's got an opportunity to kind of put this away, put the conversation done, and throw away the key. You win two matchups here. If you're that kid from Wisconsin, it's a end of conversation for me, Mike. Right? Tyler's going to be on Team USA if he beats Tyler and Yap or Villafuerte. Down below, another guy who's in Moscone Cup contention, Mike.
Yep.
Oscar Dominguez versus a gentleman who I got no idea of, Takashi Yuroka. I'm probably butchering that name. Who do you got there, Mike?
Well, I'm pulling for Oscar. I don't know anything about the guy he's playing, but
He's got
and
to
I
be a
know that
champion.
below, I'm sure he's a good player, and below that you got Amarato, who made the big splash beating Shane. But I, if you're Oscar, you're looking at saying, well, it could be a lot tougher for me to get to the 16. It could definitely be a lot. There's a lot of
I,
guys in
I,
this.
I don't think it's any like less less easy for Oscar versus Tyler or any of these guys. You look back and think about Wolford's Road, who's got a lot of
That's what I'm saying.
questions.
I think
You
there's a
know,
lot of guys in here who have a tougher, you know, uh, three guys in their four-man part of the bracket than Oscar does, as far as name value goes. Now, these guys, they're all great players, I'm sure.
well,
But
I
as
think
far
from
as
a
name
name
value
value
goes,
on the first round, because we don't know who that gentleman from Japan is, but that
right?
second round, that's like if you face either Patrick or Kyle, and if you get a win, I don't care which one it is, you know,
Yeah,
hello, yeah,
yeah,
those are big wins for you.
yeah. No, it
You know,
would be, it would be, but it's not like you're looking down there and seeing Aranis playing Chua. Okay, it's not like you're looking down there and seeing Orcolo
I
playing.
think look, I think
I know
Kyle,
we all love Filipino players.
yeah. Well, I think Kyle is, in that group of young Filipinos who's gonna
Yeah,
be the next box office name, who's gonna be the next,
could be,
Chua and James and
but he's not
name
yet.
player. Oh, he's not, but he's
Yeah,
also, listen, when his very first tournament here on the matchroom stage, he played very well, extremely well, and did not show any kind of growing pains at all coming from the Philippines versus playing on a matchroom stage. I like Kyle coming out of the bottom. I like
okay.
Oscar in that round. I'm hoping that it's Oscar, but my eyes and my what I've seen lately is telling me that you're gonna have probably a Kyle versus Yap or Villafuerte in the final 16, Mike.
Yeah, I got. Um, well, I'll take Oscar against Yep.
Oh wow, so you got Oscar winning two
Yeah,
matches.
yeah.
Let's go. There you go. There you go. Well, Mike, I think this is the end
I
of
mean,
the
you don't
final.
have faith in Oscar, but I do.
Oh my God! Here we go. You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get a message saying, "Way to go! Way to root on your friend." I don't want to be. I can't. I gotta try to
So
be
instead, you're getting a
on time.
message from Oscar saying you're sleeping on the floor next time.
Oh, for sure. No, no, no. I'm sleeping outside after that. I hope it's different because he's a really good friend, a genuine, sincere friend. We talk every day. I woke up this. It was funny because I woke up this morning and uh, I think it was like around 4:30 Central Time. And the first thing I do, I grab my phone and I refresh, and I'm one eye open, and I'm looking where's my man at, And so I see 8-8 him and Imran, and it will seem like in a forever to update the score because all these matchups are like blinging, right? Like changing the
Yeah,
numbers, right? 7-5, 8-4, whatever. You know what I mean? Oscars and Imran's was at 8-8 for the longest time, right? I mean, just the longest time, and I'm waiting for that thing to refresh, and then it finally did, and I sent him a message, and I'm super happy for him. I want him to go deep. I do. I want him to make a run. It's not going to be easy, but his game is better than what it's been over the last year, and he's playing it
Yeah, where did
right
that
at the
come
right
from? Because he
time.
really didn't play a ton, earlier in the year in these events or anything, and all of a sudden he comes rolling into the end of the year, decides he's going to take a swing at it, and he's playing really good.
Well, he was still getting comfortable changing equipment,
Yeah,
and so we know how long that can take for certain players, and it's very reasonable and understandable because you really start judging players based off of like fractions of percentages when you think
right,
about certain aspects of their game, right?
right.
And so when you change your equipment, you got to get redialed in, recalibrated with everything. And so, he said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna go on a run and try to make the team," and I was like, okay, that's not going to be easy. It's going to be
You
incredibly
got some
difficult.
catch up. You got some catch up to play here.
Yeah, and that's being generous by saying that, And so, but what I saw him play, and I told Joey this the other day, like he's playing really good. I saw him play Max. I saw him play Chen, the Taiwanese player. I saw him play solid pool out there at the U.S. Open. Like, I mean, like execution pool, And so, but being late to the party is this is what you got to do. You got a lot of ground to make up here, But like a lot of these other players who are in contention who want to go and grab the bull by the horns, listen, you go win a couple of matches, you're probably going to get on the team. It's as easy as that, and it's not that easy,
Yeah,
So, but this is part of the exciting time of just the month that we're in, Mike.
yeah. No, it's fun time of year. A lot of a lot of discussion, a lot of different angles, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of implications. The players, you can tell they all feel it. They all they know what's there. Yeah, good time of year.
Without a doubt. Like I said, me and Joey will have another show probably coming up tonight. We're just going to talk about European and American players, maybe even talk about some Asian players if they have a potential race cup, but more of like a stock up, stock down type of deal. What's up, Mike?
Well, we're not going to talk about the Euro Tour event in Slovenia.
Oh, that's right. We did. We did. So there's
We
Josh.
got to tease the Euro Tour event in Slovenia. That's Josh and Poland. Josh and 25 Polish players.
I don't know what you did
Uh,
with your hair there, girl. I don't know what you did there. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah, Josh. I had heard that Josh had called in sick to Hanoi,
yeah, no, yeah.
and he didn't seem.
Nobody
He
bought that.
didn't. He
Nobody
didn't.
bought that.
He didn't. He doesn't seem so sick being out there in Slovenia, Mike.
Yeah, no, nobody bought into the fact that he was sick. So, he's kind of making his statement, which is fine. Interesting thing that I saw from the Euro Tour was that Hunter Lombardo was in the Euro Tour. And I get it. Okay.
Is he going to be the next player rep for the WPA? Is that what he's hoping to do
Well,
here?
he's
I
not
don't
a player
understand.
rep, but it's opportunity for him. I don't blame him. He's not, he's never really in Moscone Cup contention. He's never really a threat to win a tournament or go to like final 8, right? But
Yeah.
now he just sticks to the WPA tournaments, plays in the Predator events, plays in the WPA, gets all the BCA invitations to play in the WPA events, and he's always seems to have money to travel to these foreign events. So he was smart. Go over there, play in the Euro Tour, be in Europe a little bit before the World 8 Ball that comes up in Austria. It's to me, it's for Hunter, where his game is at, where he's at, his age, all that stuff. It's a smart play.
Well, I guess it's just a matter of what you're trying to do. For me,
He's
like
well,
if you
at
want
this
to be the
point.
best, if you want to be the best player, going and playing Slovenia ain't the place to do it at. I hate to break your
Do you
heart.
think at this point Hunter Lombardo's entertaining hopes of being a world champion or winning a Matchroom event or any of that? Do you think so?
I'm not saying that, but you also got to understand that he's played all year in these events. He's played all year long in these events to at least be in the conversation to take a point spot, right? I
Never.
mean, like, look, I know it's a long
I
shot.
haven't heard a
If
conversation yet that
I'm with you
included
there.
his name.
I understand that, Mike, but you can't change just where he's at in rankings. And that I know it's a very long shot for
Very
him to
long
go
shot.
on a run. I mean, long shot's not even the word for it, right? Like you need the Hail Mary of Hail Marys in order to make a good run. Because that's where and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but that's just the reality of it.
In
But
the meantime,
you're still in a spot where you can do it.
you can.
You know?
But your other option is, let's see, I'll stay in New York, do my high-end teaching, make a ton of money doing that, take my field trips to WP events in Puerto Rico and Austria and Qatar, and if I want to go to China, whatever, because I know I'm getting the BCA invite, and okay.
I don't know. Look, if that's,
he's settling.
I really
which
hope
is fine.
that's
I
not.
get it.
I really hope that's not the reason. Like, I want to get those BCA invites. Look,
There's
nobody
good
would
money in those
ever.
tournaments that he's going to be going to.
Do you think he's got a chance to make some really good money in those tournaments? Is that what you're saying?
Well, then why go to any tournaments?
That's a very good question. That's a really good question.
Now we're talking about half the field at every tournament. We're questioning why they bother.
Well, but here's the thing: if you're talking like that argument of I want to get one of those allocated spots. Look, it's still not going to change that you're not one of the best Americans.
No,
like I wouldn't want to win that spot like that anyway. I'd want to go, like, if I'm competing, I want to go compete. I want to say I'm taking Shane's spot, or I'm taking Sky spots, or I'm taking one of these automatic spots. That's what I would want to do. I wouldn't want to do it by default of everyone else leaving.
And that's very commendable. But there's reality too. And the reality is he's not taking one of those spots. The reality is he's not going to reach the final 8. The reality is he's not going to make money playing the matchroom events. He's not going to make money. And it's going to cost him
playing Team Poland and Josh Filler.
Well, if everybody's playing the matchroom events, he's got a better chance than he did.
the odds went straight up, didn't they?
I mean, so Josh finishes first, the Polish finish second through 12th, and he gets 13th.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll take. How about? Is that what you think?
I don't know.
I just think
that his decision is not a dumb one.
It's okay. I wouldn't go that far. It's his decision to be made, no matter what. It's his decision to be made, and I get it. And he's always been that WPA guy anyway. You look at the World Games, look at any event where he got out, where it was WPA and they got spots.
Well, he wasn't a WPA guy as much as all the guys ahead of him all said no.
Well, yeah, but it's still he still felt
so it always came down to him.
Default.
He wasn't the first call. It always came down to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was still at the party.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
Shane went to the World Games too. So did Hunter. We're not making fun of Shane.
Well, no, but
because he took the invitation. They gave him an invitation to World Games. He went and played.
Yeah, Tyler, but everybody knows that, if there 3 Americans went to the World Games, Shane, Tyler, Hunter. Nobody on earth is going to say Hunter's a top 3 American ever.
No
one's going to say that.
But that doesn't mean he should turn down the invitation.
I'm
he
not
backed
saying
into
that.
it because everybody else turned it down.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's not his fault. He don't have to feel guilty about it.
How do we? You see, everyone says that I'm the shit stirrer of the group, and you're the one wanting to bring up Slovenia, and then we get turned on these other topics, and then it turns into a Hunter conversation. And
I'm nimble, but
I don't know how you move too good, Pinozo. Give me a.
But here's the Slovenia winners qualification round.
Okay,
Josh,
send me the bracket, by the way, if you can.
Misko, Conrad,
okay,
Michael Turkowski, Wojciech Svajcek.
Okay.
Daniel Messial, Karol Skawerski, Matus Snagaki, Thomas Kaplan, Victor Zielinski, and Simon Corral. They're all in the winners qualification.
So all of Poland and Josh.
And Josh.
So Hunter ain't even in the winners qualification.
No, he's out of the tournament. He lost. He's out.
The tournament started 20 minutes ago. How is he out already?
He won his first match.
Okay.
Let me look it up. Hunter Lombardo won his first match against a German player named George Wywowski. So he won his first round and then lost to Oliver Solnacki 9-4.
Nothing wrong with losing Oliver.
And then the second
losers. So Oliver's not.
Oh no, he's playing. He's playing the losers bracket today against a Czech player.
Well, go give him hell. Go give him hell. I'm glad he's not out of the tournament because I was like, damn.
Get that Euro Tour money. You know what you get for 33rd in the Euro Tour?
A ribbon?
A Starbucks gift certificate.
So you get $5. So that means you only got to pay like $4 then, right? After that.
Free mistos for everybody from 33 to 64.
Okay, look, we're gonna have a lot more updates for the Hanoi Open. Mike, are you gonna be available later this week?
Do you
Tomorrow?
want me after this?
Oh, of course, of course. Listen, I love a little trolling early in the morning. Nothing I love more. So, plenty more stuff to discuss and talk about. The event is going to be shaping up to be a great one. I'm sure we'll probably be talking about some Polish player versus filler in the final of Slovenia. And then, of course, Hanoi is just going to be. I don't really know where to go in Hanoi, Mike. I have no idea who's going to win the event. I wouldn't be surprised if the names I don't know become names that I do know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we're bound to see. I would say the over and under on names you don't know in the final 16 is probably 4.
How many Americans win 2 matches?
Well, we looked at all
What would
the.
you put the line at? Don't look at it. Just think about what you just saw.
That's what I'm saying. Based on what I just saw, as far as who's got the roads, really tough for Shane Wolford. I like Oscar. I think Oscar. I picked him to win 2 matches. I picked Shane to win 2 matches. I picked Sky to win 2 matches. I would say the over/under is 3.5.
Oh, can I take the under? Can I take the under? Can we bet a dinner on the under? My guys, Americans who win
You
2
don't
matches.
think 3 guys? Yeah, 3 guys win 2 matches. That would be really good, wouldn't it?
I'll take the under, Mike. Can I take the under 3.5?
Sure.
Give me a chance at my dinner.
All right,
bet
2.5.
Mike.
It's 2.5.
No. Don't shave me by a point at the last second. You said 3.5. I'm snap calling the dinner bet. I'll take under 3.5 of guys to win 2 matches, Mike. All right.
All right.
Done deal. I'm buying Mike some dinner in Las Vegas in the next 6 months for sure. So, we appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. Like I said, Joey and I will probably be live this evening, and me and Mike, and maybe even Joey for tomorrow, talking more Hanoi stuff. So, we'll see all you guys later, and thanks for stopping by.
Keep your eye on the Euro Tour.